Hello. So I'm feeling a bit anxious today. I don't really know why. I think it's just the whole everything coming after uni is making me feel kind of sick and like dreading just about everything. So I thought I would overcome that today by doing some drawing in my sketchbook, as well as doing drawing in my sketchbook to try and make me feel less anxious. I also want to do some drawing in my sketchbook to do some experimentation stuff, because I would 100% consider myself a perfectionist, which definitely has its moments of like, oh, this is kind of helpful, but most of the time it's very frustrating, because then, especially when it comes to doing work on my sketchbook, I feel as though every time I come to draw something I feel restricted, because I always think it has to come out perfect when obviously it doesn't, because it's a sketchbook. One of my goals is to be better at doing experimental stuff in my sketchbook. And also a lot of my goals for this summer to do with drawing are based around drawing more from life and being more experimental, because I think a lot of the stuff I do as well is from photographs, and I want to get better at doing things from my imagination. I always tell myself I can't do it, and that is the wrong mindset to have. I can, it's just every time it comes to drawing something I always think, oh, I can't do it, or it's not going to come out well, so I don't want to do it. I also hate drawing in front of people, which I think comes from, again, the perfectionist thing, that I feel as though everything I have to draw has to come out looking perfect, which obviously is not the case, because if everything came out looking perfect, then you're never going to improve, or you're never going to know what you need to improve on. Yeah, I thought we would do some drawing today. I don't really know how it's going to work, but I definitely want to work on just using my sketchbook as a place to like have fun and play, because that is what it's there for. And not everyone has to see every single page, and yes, some pages you make are going to be ugly and they're not going to come out looking how you want them to, but that doesn't mean that you are a bad artist, and it doesn't mean that I'm a bad artist or illustrator. So yeah, but I'll show you some examples of what I mean. So this is probably as far as my sketchbook gets in terms of sketchy stuff, but a lot of the stuff in here is what I would consider very controlled, very perfectionist. So this one, for example, I haven't actually finished it. It's very perfectionist, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm allowed to do what I want in my sketchbook, but I do want to experiment more, and this feels very in my comfort zone. I saw a practice that was drawing 5 things that you'd never drawn before from memory, and then you would take those 5 things and then draw them from a photograph to see how what it actually looked like compared to like how you remembered it. I was thinking of these animals and I could see them so clearly in my head, and I was getting really frustrated, because then when it came to drawing it, it was just like really annoying. I'm going to show you. I shouldn't be embarrassed. I don't know why I'm embarrassed, but I just, whenever something doesn't come out looking how I want it to, I feel like people are going to look and be like, oh, she can't draw. So yeah, this was my attempt, and it's really frustrating because I do stuff like this and then I get frustrated because I'm like, it looks like I drew this maybe 15 years ago when I was like 7. It's just very frustrating. I really want to have my sketchbook just be really loose, and I think at the moment it's kind of, when I go to draw something in my sketchbook, it's very like, oh, I have to have a picture so I know what I'm working from, it has to look perfect, and if it goes wrong then I get annoyed, and I don't want to be doing that anymore. I really want to be more experimental and just play around and have fun. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Doing artwork for school has made me want everything to look perfect, because obviously you're making final pieces, you want it to look great, and you're trying to like get a good grade. I'm trying to like revert myself and remind myself that art doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Like, you can have fun making it, and sometimes I think I forget to just open my sketchbook and think, right, I'm just gonna paint loads of paint on the page and just like colour over the top of it. And like, it doesn't have to look amazing, it doesn't have to look like a final incredible finished piece, and I think trying to think like that is so much easier said than done. Sorry, my chair is so squeaky. I can sit here right now and tell myself like, oh, it doesn't have to look perfect, like it doesn't have to look great, and like I can tell myself all these things, but like I still don't believe it. I feel like it's something you have to work on. And we're going to start on this page. It's already got a drawing on. This is making me feel kind of nervous. I've got my little page clips just to keep my page nice and flat. like, if you see my art Instagram, I feel like you should take it with a grain of salt, because obviously the only stuff I ever post on my Instagram is the stuff that comes out well. I never ever obviously post the stuff that doesn't come out looking how I want it to. Maybe I should do that actually. Maybe I should make a post of drawings that are not great, to show you that you can be a good artist and someone who's good at drawing, but like you're still going to draw stuff that doesn't come out looking how you want it to. So yeah, but we are just going to get started on this page. I think I'm just going to put a load of colour on the page. I'm thinking maybe like blue, green. I don't really know what I'm doing. The other thing as well is I want to try draw more from life and like imagination and memory, but also I don't think there's anything wrong with using a reference picture. I just think a lot of my work is reference picture based, and I want to work more towards implementing things from my imagination and memory. This is so frustrating. I definitely just need a sketchbook where I just play, because doing this right now is actually, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, please let me know, because when I was younger I think I was obviously a lot better at just like drawing and not being worried about how it looked, and now because I've just not experimented enough, I'm just really getting angry because it's just not, I don't know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, then I know it's going to come out looking bad. So yeah, let me know if you ever get frustrated. One of the whole points of being someone creative and being an artist is that you allow yourself time to like play. Sorry, that was really cringy. I feel like what I'm saying isn't what I say in real life, but also I'm painting, so I feel like my thoughts are just coming out as I'm thinking. But I just sound really cringe. Like, make sure you give yourself time to play in your sketchbook. But I guess it's true. Maybe you should grab your sketchbook and we can just do some like sketch stuff together. Like, you could just put this video on in the background as like something to listen to while you paint or draw together or whatever. I'm kind of having a little bit of fun, like just chucking paint on the page. This is what I've got so far. I don't know what I'm going to draw over the top. Maybe like flowers or something. Not really sure. What are people's plans for like after school or like over the summer? What are people's plans for over the summer? I would love to know. Is anyone like finished school right now, or have you got, do you like start again in September? Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying, so okie dokie. This is where we are at right now. I tried to do some little brush textures as well. Actually, oh, I don't know what to draw. Okay, let's just stop saying that. There's no such thing as I don't know what to draw, because I could draw a line and say that I've drawn something. I think I'm just going to throw loads of random materials at it and create maybe something that feels quite busy. So maybe I just do like a really multimedia page and just chuck everything on there, like pencils, markers and a pen and everything under the sun. That is my page all dry. I don't know if you can see, but we've got pink, blue and, well, it's like a purple and like a green, but I tried to add, I don't know if you can see, some like paintbrush textures on there, just very subtle. So now, but actually that's quite nice just as a page as it is. I feel like it looks nice in real life and it does on camera, but now we're just gonna do stuff over the top. I'm just gonna stop thinking and just like do a line. Yeah, I kind of want to go in with my pencils because it feels like this safer option, but I've just drawn a line and I hate it already. This is so frustrating. I feel like I've ruined it. But it was, why do I keep saying that? It was already just blobs of paint anyway. It's not like it was pretty. This is why I think it's so important to do this kind of stuff, because I have obviously been like experiment deprived for such a long time that now I really don't want to do it. Even at uni, I feel like if you've done art for like GCSE, A-level or uni, you know that like when you do your stuff, you quite often have to do like experiments, like media experiments and stuff, so like playing with different media or like playing with media that you use, but like trying to think about how you can do it in a different way. And every single time I do that for a uni project, it always felt kind of like forced, like I was kind of just doing it because I had to. But I think that's because I'm such a perfectionist. Every time I kind of experimented with something, it was like because I had to, and like I knew I had to do it, so I kind of just did it for the sake of it. Almost like I was too scared to like actually experiment. And again, I'm sorry, I'm really not very good at multitasking and drawing. I thought I would have been, but I think when you draw, it's something that you just want to do like mindlessly. This is what I've done. Just some pencil stuff. I mean, marker stuff. I think the other thing I get annoyed about is because the experiments often come out not looking like the way that I currently work. Like for example, this whole page is probably going to end up being a page of like shapes, and obviously because it feels like abstract, and I am not an abstract creative person. Abstract is not really my kind of thing. So I think when I do a page like this, that is also why I get frustrated, because it doesn't feel like myself because it's abstract. And then I feel like I'm... You know when you draw something and it doesn't feel like yourself and it feels inauthentic? I think that is what this feels like. And I still right now feel like I'm like forcing myself to do this. But I think with more practice will come better ideas. I don't know what I'm saying. I think with more experimentation, I will feel a lot looser in what I'm creating. One of the whole points I feel like of making art is I think it really helps with like feeling anxious. I mean, I say that. Sometimes I draw and I just get really angry because stuff I'm doing isn't coming out right. But for the most part, I feel like it can be very helpful. So, yeah. I don't know why I find it so frustrating when things don't come out well. But I just want to be honest about it, because I think sometimes, especially social media, I think it's important to share that, just because when you look on social media, like in terms of like people's lives as well, like people's... Right, the thing I was saying was, the thing about social media, it can be very easy to look at people's art, even if you're telling yourself subconsciously like this isn't necessarily the realist depiction of what this person experiences. Like you could be looking at that artwork like, wow, they create such amazing artwork, but then they could make one amazing artwork, you know, like maybe once or twice a week, and then all the other stuff they do they absolutely hate. They think it's not coming out well, but they're only ever going to share the stuff online that goes well. And that's the same with like art, and that's also the same with like a lot of other things. Is like people's lives as well. Like people could be doing something really cool, but you don't see the full side of it. Like that isn't the full story. And I don't think necessarily that people always have to tell you the whole story, but I think it's just, you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're looking at other people's lives. And I think the same with artwork as well. Like sometimes I see people who post artwork and I'm like, oh, that artwork just looks amazing all of the time. Like it always looks incredible, and like I will literally do maybe a drawing every now and then that actually comes out looking what I would consider like nice. That person isn't sharing the hundreds of sketches that they've done before making the actual like final piece. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of that with this as well, because obviously on my Instagram only ever post the stuff that comes out well. Never ever post the things that go wrong. Or like that page I showed you, like this page for example, like that page, would I post it on Instagram? Absolutely no, I wouldn't, because I know I don't like it and I think it's really bad. But you know what, maybe I should actually. I think I'm gonna make a page on Instagram of drawings that maybe I wouldn't consider decent or good or well put together, just to like be honest. I feel like I just would like to do that. And also, if I like seeing it when people share the realistic side of stuff, so I think everyone should just have a little play in your sketchbook, even if it's gonna come out looking not how you intended. I don't really know what is going on here. I'm just kind of drawing like curves and lines. These are the stars I just did. Stars. I might put some dark green paint Let's mix something up real quick. That, look how nice that is. Like around here. Go around some of these stars. Doing stuff like this as well, you loosen up in your practice, because I think sometimes my practice can feel a little bit stiff. So I think everyone should just take the time out of their sketchbook like once or twice a week to just do something like this. I feel like such a hypocrite saying that, because this is my first time like playing and experimenting in my sketchbook since at least a year. It depends what you would consider maybe like experimenting in your sketchbook, because even if I have experimented in the last year, I know that it's been safe experimenting. We should definitely like share some stuff in the comments about how you use your sketchbook. Are you like me and someone who has to keep it like perfect all the time, or do you quite often experiment? That would be quite interesting to know. Look at that colour. That is so gorgeous. Oh, that is... Imagine like a dress in this colour. Beautiful. I think as well, the thing that sometimes stunts my... I don't know what the phrase is, like makes me feel like I can't draw, or makes me not want to create or not want to experiment, is it like... Obviously, again, coming back to social media. Not that I'm saying that this is always where it comes from, but I think it definitely plays a part, is that like you're scrolling through Instagram and you see everyone's like amazing artwork. Obviously, because people only ever post the final, usually only post the final pieces. I'm not saying everyone does this, but I mean, I'm guilty as charged. I quite often look at that and think, oh, they can just like draw that straight away. They can just make a whole illustration like straight away and draw it instantly. But I haven't seen the sketches that's gone into that, and maybe the studying of drawing that animal that could have taken like weeks to like learn what the anatomy is like. And I'm only seeing the finished piece. I haven't seen the thumbnails and the sketches that have gone into it, and like the colour experiments and the really bad like drawings from reference photos that they've done a million times. So then when I come to drawing something and it doesn't come out perfect the first time, I get really frustrated. And I think maybe that is where it comes from, is that like viewing it subconsciously, even again if you're telling people, or like you're telling yourself, sorry, that it's not real, like you're not seeing the whole picture. I think it's hard to kind of like convince your brain that if that is what your brain is seeing. You kind of need to get out of this mindset that like the drawing is going to come out looking perfect first time. Like it could take you a good couple tries to get it right. Maybe you might not even get it right, and you like draw it maybe a year later and you're like, oh, it's actually come out looking nice. But yeah, I feel like it just takes practice, and this is where we're at so far. I'm actually really having... I don't know if you can see, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I'm actually having a lot of fun doing this now. I'm really getting into it. Imagine how much better I'm going to be in like a couple of weeks after doing this. I don't know if you guys are drawing along with me, but if you are, it would be fun to see what you've done, or like what you've drawn. So you can DM that to me on Instagram if you would like.